Hey, I am TC, your girlfriend, not girlfriend, and the most honest F buddy you've never had. Today's topic: can you be friends with benefits with your ex? Woo. All right, let's get into it. The first thing I would think about when considering whether I can be friends with benefits with my ex is how did we break up? First of all, okay, hold on. Let me preference this with, oh no, maybe I shouldn't. Okay, no, I'm not going to. Not yet. Okay, so back on topic. How did the relationship end? Did it end bad or did it end good? If it ended badly, why would you want to be friends with benefits with this person? Why would you want to do that? Was the sex that good? If it ended badly, I would say maybe not. Yes, I guess you could come back to one another and rekindle that thing. But if your intent is to be friends with benefits and not like try to rekindle any relationship or whatever, well, maybe you guys may have a more difficult time rekindling at a healthy emotional distance if you guys ended badly. Because once things start to go good again, you're going to start feeling those feelings again. You're going to start feeling really good. And maybe only one of you may be open to entering into a relationship again. So it's just playing with a little bit of fire there. If things ended good, you have more of an understanding about why you guys went your separate ways. And I feel keep a healthy emotional distance when entering into a friends with benefits relationship, because you both know why you left and you're cool with that. So now you're just more so exploring and having fun in that friendship if you guys ended on that good note. But that's just my opinion on the matter. The next thing I would say to consider is how long were you two together? And were you considering like long-term future plans with this person? So were you thinking about getting married, having kids, all of that? Or were you guys just kind of figuring it out? You were in it. You didn't have any definite future plans. You guys were just having fun kind of while you were, dating one another. Not saying you were like doing anything outside of your relationship, but you guys just were not thinking too much about the future. Because if that were the case, trying to develop a friends with benefits relationship, the thoughts of maybe what you could have had won't come up as much. You guys wouldn't be thinking too much about like trying to place this person in your future again, or seeing this person in your future to this level of intimate capacity, because you guys weren't even thinking about that. So you guys may be okay with moving around in the present and not thinking about the future if you guys weren't planning this extensive future together. However, if you were, I don't think it would be a good idea, because like I said before, you'll see this person in your future again. When you guys broke up, you weren't necessarily seeing them in your future, especially like if you went your separate ways and then like healed from that and everything. You would no longer see that person very clearly in your future. So entering into a friends with benefits relationship could cause those feelings and that vision to come back if you guys had those extensive future plans. So that's just my advice on that one. The next thing is definitely a TC thing. Being honest about your emotional connection to that person and their emotional connection to you. If when you guys broke up, you were still very emotionally connected and you guys were super hurt over the breakup, regardless of who decided to break it off or whatever, you guys were still super emotionally connected. Trying to be friends with benefits. Because here's the thing, right? Friends with benefits, you're agreeing to not be committed. And also, I think a portion of that is agreeing to not put each other in each other's emotional future. Or, you know what I mean? So when you say you want to enter into, like, there are things you can do if you guys want to kind of slowly move from like being broken up to back in a relationship. You guys can just start dating again. And I don't mean like being committed initially, but I just mean like dating, like going on dates, having a good time or whatever, seeing where things goes. That is not the same thing as a friends with benefits relationship. Friends with benefits relationships, as I stated before, have some sort of emotional stopping point to them. Agreed upon emotional stopping point. So if you both were super emotionally connected and you guys like that, or maybe one of you like that and the other one maybe isn't there, like being honest about where you guys are emotionally, where you guys were emotionally is important, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're yearning for that relationship again and they are not, or they are yearning for the relationship again and you are not. So being honest from the gate, what that emotional connection look like and where it is important. If it was anywhere high during the breakup, after you guys broke up, don't do it. Don't do it. You can't be friends. You can't be friends. You can't be friends with benefits. You can be friends, but you can't be friends with benefits, I think. It's just my opinion. There's too much emotions that already get involved in friends with benefits relationships. So if you already start with a foundation of high emotions, it's just not good. Somebody could get hurt. Seriously. The next thing I would say is, how supportive were your families in your relationships? And this can kind of go either or. I'm just saying that this should be something that you can consider or should consider. If your families were very supportive of your relationship and wanted to see you guys together, you guys trying to play around in this friends with benefits, non-committal kind of thing can frustrate those who care about the both of you, because they can start to feel like one of you are playing with the other, or like they keep pressuring you guys, like, what are you guys doing? Or whatever. It's just too much. Like that, you already get that pressure when there was no established relationship before trying to enter into this space. So if you guys were already in a relationship space and then trying to move into this space, your families can be unforgiving, like in applying that pressure, and it can become uncomfortable. And in friends with benefits relationships, you want to have fun, right? Well, it's not fun for your family to always be pressing you out about, hey, when are you and Jody going to be together? When are you and Jody, like, what are you and Jody doing? You don't want to hear that. You just want to be like, bro, we're having a good time. We're in the moment. Stop that. So I'm just saying, think about that. Also, if they weren't supportive of you guys being in a relationship in the first place, they may really not be supportive of you guys just playing around. You know what I mean? I could go into more detail with that, but for the sake of this video and keeping it kind of short, I'm not going to. You know what I mean there? Definitely something to consider. The last thing that I would say is, how were you guys in your relationship? Like actually doing your relationship? Was this a healthy person for you to be with? Did you feel safe? Did you feel comfortable? Could you trust this person? How did you feel in your relationship? Because you can have all of these things and still end up not together because maybe your future goals don't align, or maybe one person wants to have like 50 kids and the other person doesn't want to have kids at all. So you guys can end for a bunch of different reasons. And if in that relationship it was a healthy relationship, all other things considered, then you guys could possibly enter into a healthy friends with benefits relationship, because you know that your futures don't align. You have a solid, tangible reason not to be with one another. So you can enter a space where you're having a good time, you still enjoy the same interests, and you still enjoy the sex without getting too emotionally attached to what could be. So those are my things to consider, whether you and your ex could be friends with benefits. On this channel, I don't like to tell you yes or no. I don't like to do that because in friends with benefits relationships, things are different, people are different, how they handle their relationships and emotions are different. So I don't want to give you a definitive yes or no based off of what I see. But what I was going to say from earlier is, my answer was a no. And my answer was a no, not because of me, but because of when I tried to do that with an ex. And I think everybody tries, especially when there's like this emotional connection, they try to do this like, oh, we could still have sex, but we could be friends kind of situation. And he just he couldn't handle that. So, and I get it. Like, we spent 5.5 years together. You know, we grew up in our relationship together. I'm a good person. He's a decent person. Yeah, he just couldn't handle that. So I would say no. But maybe if I met another person like me and we separated because futures didn't align or whatever the case may be, maybe we could. I don't know. But it was just a no for me. Okay. So as always, if you have any questions, you want me to go into more detail about my experiences, definitely leave those in the comments. I have no problem being more personal, talking about my personal experiences. But for now, be free, have fun, be safe, and enjoy, guys. See you in the next video.